Good morning. It is Wednesday, March 13, 2024. Let's jump right into it. Bitcoin. I didn't plan to speak on Bitcoin after yesterday, but I figure I should since I acted on the position yesterday. Um, just to reiterate how I use the chart when a stock break long time resistance, I will buy on check back or on weakness until it violate what turned into support. Okay, so once Bitcoin went above this gray zone here, I did put in an order to buy some IBIT, small, nothing big, at just because I didn't know where Bitcoin will go. I have an order in to add Bitcoin just above 70, and then one for the same amount just below 70K. The average is 70K, but just to be safe in case, depend on the wick, how things work, how crazy Bitcoin can be, and both of those orders trigger, and I add yesterday, and I will keep on doing the same thing. That's just the way I play these breakouts stock. Okay, so keep that in mind. So that's what I did yesterday. For those that sold or got stopped out, hopefully you're able to get in cheaper. If you somehow sold at 74K, then yes, you can buy back, right? Let me. Where is that 74K? Yeah, it's crazy, but for sure. Now, of course, I have a trim order for IBIT at 74K, right? But that didn't take place because, of course, it was not during trading hour. Okay, so uh, I will leave that order where it is for now. Right now we're looking at 73.65. What the order to trim BTC at 74K, equivalent IBIT, my ETF holding, is a lot smaller than what I had yesterday. So I'm keeping it there to be disciplined. I already removed the trim order at 72K because I thought 72K is going to be breached easily and maintained, and for the most part I was right. So I'm leaving it there. Right, as far as the 74K trim order, I'm leaving it there because it's all right. I would keep on adding if it dropped down near 70K, but I would trim at 74K. All right, done with BTC. Now the next one on the list is something that I don't think a lot of people. I have never traded. I have looked at this many times, but I have never traded. Can anybody guess what this company is? The ticker? Airbus. Okay, I have never traded this stock. I have looked at it many times, and I kind of kicked myself for not buying into it. Um, would I buy it here? The answer is no. Okay, but would I buy on weakness? I'm gonna set my alert here. Okay, because to me, if it get down to 41-ish, I will look to do something. Right, at least do something. Below, alert, do something. There you go. set my alert now. Look at this 3-year chart. Yeah, it's a strong trend up there. So it's near the top of the line. I would want to do it, but if it get down below 40 into the 39 area, I think I would consider. Airbus is a very good company compared to Boeing. Okay, you have a global duopoly of passenger airliner, right? And Boeing is such a poorly managed company for the past decade. Yeah, past decade. It's horrific, and it's unthinkable of how badly the management team has been doing since the Max, the 737 Max, has been in production. I mean, there's an interesting documentary that just came out recently that I should link. I will find the documentary that I watched and link it into this the description section later after I end the stream, so that you can go and see it, watch it. But it kind of outline the history of the 737 Max as far as the trouble. It's a frontline documentary, which is I like a PBS documentary. But Airbus, back to Airbus. Now, the reason why Airbus didn't do, if you look at the long-term chart, you would have think Airbus would have done so much better as far as a company, right? But as you can see, the earning is not all that wonderful. But the problem with Airbus and Boeing is that because it is a duopoly, a global duopoly, and it's such an expensive product. An airplane costs hundreds of millions. And training of pilots and crew and maintenance is extremely expensive. That's, it's extra. So there's a reason why airlines like Boeing, not like Delta or Southwest or you name it, every airline for the most part stay with one brand because they don't want to have to spend the money to either double train their staff, which is nearly impossible, or hire 2 different set of crew of maintenance as well as pilots. Think about that, right? It's expensive. So as bad as Boeing has been doing for the past 10 years with this 737 Max and all the problems, very rare do you see a company like, say, Southwest. Southwest bought a lot of 737 Max. And that's one of their problems, is they couldn't fly a lot of time in the past 10 years because of the stupid problem with the 737. But they don't want to switch. They can't. They're stuck. Okay, they're stuck because they have invested billions in the past many decades on crew, maintenance, staffing, everything for Boeing. It's so hard for them to we're gonna give it up. It's just like it's much harder for any airline to do that kind of switch compared to, say, a company that have the entire company system on PC and say, we're gonna scrap using Windows PC and switch over to Mac and replace all 10,000 computers. That's also crazy. You don't see that either, right? So think about that. The cost of switching 10,000 PC for a company head office seemed crazy, and no company had ever done that. That's why Apple has never able to get big in any kind of corporate, because PC is entrenched, and that's the same issue with Boeing, right? As crappy as it has been, my God, it got orders out the yin yang, and Airbus great company. I have flew Airbus plane only once on my trip to Vietnam last year, and I'm telling you, it's a nicer plane. It is. I I flew Boeing or whatever other brand for the previous many decades, but I finally got into an Airbus. I was excited to be able to sit in an Airbus just to experience what an Airbus is like, and I can tell you, I like it. I like it a lot. All right, so as far as Airbus, would I buy here? No, but I will consider doing something if this alert trigger off below 41. Okay, because I think buying somewhere in the 40s, worst case scenario, down at the 50 MA might be a good thing. All right, so let's done with that. Now the next one is rising from the dead. I have not talked about this. I had at one point 300, maybe even 400 shares of this. Okay, it was a painful mistake. I bet on the wrong horse here. If you buy AutoZone or O'Reilly, you had double your money. But no, I had to pick the dog of the three, and the dog died. I have got stopped out 75% of my position. I'm literally have 100 share left. I let it for dead. I was disgusted. I stopped talking about this for I think at least 6 months, if not longer. 9 months. I don't know what it was. Okay, it was painful. It was the biggest loss monetarily for me last year. But here's a chart that I think is on the verge. I'm using that word, verge of breaking out. Look, it's at the scene of the crime. Okay, unbelievable. After over 10 months. The 10 months. Let me draw the line first. There we go. Okay, in fact, I'm gonna change that to white. You know, from now on, anything that is critical is gonna get that white color. All right. Since June, May. Oh yeah. So yeah, 10 months. Goodness gracious, so ugly, so ugly. It went down to the below 50. Goodness gracious, I kind of tune it out of my portfolio. I don't even look at it. You know, you know how I avoid it? I sort my holding in my screen on E-Trade from Z to A. So AAP is the very first stock, so it's always on the bottom of the screen, and the way I set up the screen, I don't want to see it. Okay, I don't want to see this stock. That's how bad it was. But it's finally back now. Technically, it has potentially turned around. Fundamentally, it is in the first inning of a turnaround. Let me say this, okay? This is not a good company. This is not a healthy company. This is a very troubled company with terrible management, many missteps. That's why it is where it is. I'm not delusional to think that they can turn this around overnight, but fundamentally, it is finally doing many of the right thing as far as figured out. They bring in a CEO. They brought in a CEO that was very good. I like what he's doing. He understands supply management chain. He understands all those things that need to run this kind of a business, and it is slowly working. So fundamentally, it's in the first inning of a turnaround. So we have a long way to go. Technically, you have a stock that potentially on the verge of a breakout. I'm watching this line right here. Okay, once again, we have a potential resistance that can last a long time. It can, it might not, because it spent so much time down here. Who knows if there is any more people that are saying, get me out. Maybe those people that still have some share like I have are saying, hell no, it's time to buy. Who knows? Okay, all I'm saying is I'm watching this. If this break out and then check back, I'm adding. It is that simple. Okay, to stay disciplined to TA, just like what I did with Bitcoin, Glaxo, AppV. If there is a multi-months, long-term resistance that's going to turn into a support, this could be the breakout that can run for a year from now. A year from now, we can get to 109. So you're looking at an opportunity of 20% to 25%. Yeah, that is not to be ignored. Whatever money was lost can be recouped on that move. Okay, so you betcha. I am not gonna be shy away. AAP is back on my radar. I'm not buying yet. I'm waiting for the breakout and the check back to confirm, and then off we go. All right. So that's the play. Next up, OKTA. Holy moly, breakout. For those of remember, the last time I did anything with OKTA was did a bear spread in December. It made money. I tried to do it twice. The second time, the order just didn't trigger, and I missed out. And it's a good thing. If I did a bear spread here, even 3 weeks out, I would have been wiped out on the earning gap up. Right now, does it mean that it's time to chase? Where, let's look back. Okay, why did it gap up to here and then consolidate? Is there a reason? I bet you there is. Aha, there you go. That yellow line. Let's change that to white. All right, so once again, you have a situation of a massive breakdown. Look at OKTA. OKTA was 287. 287 3 years ago. What a breakdown. Look at this channel, right? Holy cow. Holy cow, what a decline. And then it become a resistance, right? And over a year and a half, look at that thing. August of 2023. August of 2022. My goodness. What a long, strange, painful trip it was. And here we are. Is it a surprise that it is consolidating? I expect the same thing with AAP. Okay, I would not be shocked if AAP is going to do the same thing. It's going to go up, down, sideways for a while. That's why I'm turning bullish on AAP, but there is no reason to buy AAP yet, because the same thing is happening in OKTA that can happen with AAP. But on this, I'm watching. All right, I'm watching to see if there is going to be a breakout, because if there is, oh, we can see a long run. Okay, we can see a long run. There is a potential 30 to 40% run. So it's getting interesting. Okay, it's on the radar. Going forward, both AAP and OKTA are on the radar. It was on the radar before for different reason. Okay, it's on the radar before for different reason. Now it's on. You know, would I buy it? Um, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind paying. Take a flyer, and what I would do though is probably on weakness, sell put spread 195 to start, and then perhaps adding share at 106. Okay, so it's the beginning. Okay, OKTA is a little bit ahead of AAP. Okay, let's end this on AMD. AMD. Um, fill the gap. Well, almost. Okay, so there's a gap fill at 170, 193, and it's not there yet. Okay, so I'm gonna put an alert. I was watching it. I thought it was for sure it's gonna below 193. Gap fill. I do like AMD as far as risk reward compared to chasing NVIDIA up here. I do. If that go off, if that alert go off, and then I would likely sell 185, 175 spread. Okay, something like that. To me, that zone between 175 and between 185 and 175 is potentially support because of the consolidation that you see here. So I would mind buying share, even 100 share, if that spread is assigned to me at somewhere between 185 and 175. Yeah, but yeah, I think on a pullback, that's where I look to add or buy into AMD. Okay, that's it for today. Good luck. I'm watching Bitcoin to see if it will stay in the 74 range so that I can get my trim order to trigger.